What's good? A month from now, I'm gonna... Shut up! A month from now, I'm gonna upload a video that I just made about how artists can succeed. And in this video, I spoke about, like, it's kind of hard for someone like me in my position and situation to be taken seriously because, it appears that I don't know what I'm talking about because, I'm not a full-time artist. But in the video, my argument basically fundamentally boils down to any artists that wants to become full-time, virtually almost any artist that wants to become full-time can become full-time artists. And in the video, I described the reason why somebody like myself, why me personally, I can't do that right now. But it's the same application, as far as what I did with my landscaping business. It's the same concept. All business fundamentally operates on the same structure, for the most part. And an artist is a business. If you are making art full time and get paid for it, you have a business, right? So, and the short version of it is, I'm a full-time dad and I have to do my landscaping right now, but there are people in better positions than me in life who have leverage, and so they can do the art full-time. So that's one video I will upload and give some more details about, next month, because what I've been doing is I've been uploading them onto Facebook, and then when it alerts me that it's about to be deleted, it gives me the ability to download the video then. And for some reason, when I do download it, it does not use a whole lot of space on my phone, even over an hour long videos. So I was just thinking about it, and at some point, I always talk about, like, sometimes in your life there are things that you can't do, right? Like, right now there are things I just practically cannot do, and it's just a waiting game in a sense. It's enduring it, and I always reflect back on prisoners of war when they're in the prison, or when they are held captive. In that moment, there's really nothing they can do, right? They really can't do anything in that moment. The only thing they can do is wait it out and work on internal things. Similar concept. In my life right now, there's nothing I can really do other than keep working. And there's little things I can still do to improve my situation, right? Such as, like, I can, like, this afternoon, I got 4 hours of work to do today. And I'm headed to that job now. And so I'm headed there now, and I should be done by 1 o'clock. So once I leave there, it's going to take me about 40 minutes to get back into town. And once I get back into town, or later on this afternoon, I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to create, some ads to for my services and I'm going to create an ad offering a live-in gardener landscaper situation, you know. But I've done that before. I'm just saying that's another. You got to keep fishing. You got to keep putting the ads out, you know, and eventually hoping somebody will bite, right? It's not much within my control who sees the ad, or in the past, so far nobody's called me on that, but it doesn't hurt to just throw it out there and put an ad out that says, hey, you know, I'll be your full-time landscaper gardener or whatnot, and willing to travel, willing to move elsewhere, you know. So that's the only thing I can do. But here's the thing, just like a few years ago, and obviously I'm just documenting my journey here. I'm not necessarily providing anyone with any value in this video other than if you're interested in hearing about it. You know, it's the only thing I can provide today in this video. But I know at some point, if the bad luck does not exceed the atrophy, if it doesn't win before I get a chance to take advantage of good luck, then it will enable me to the ability to advance forward, to get on a path to where I can begin doing what I want. Okay, let me clarify what I'm trying to say. You know, if nothing bad happens and I could just hang in there for a bit, then at some point, as I continue the journey, if I could take advantage of good luck when it comes and just keep building on what I'm attempting to build, then I should be okay, right? Eventually I should come out on the other end, you know, being able to implement a strategic and tactical means to advance forward. So back when I had that small 2-bedroom trailer, that trailer was $400 a month in rent, and I was allowed to, you know, do whatever I want with it, like as far as remodeling it. I had the freedom. I was granted permission by the owner. And for those of you who don't know, as soon as I moved in, 3 months after I moved in, suddenly I was forced to have to drop my plans due to some legal troubles, and then the owner sold the property, right? So originally he told me he was going to sell it in about 5 years, and so because of that, I had enough time to implement this plan I had. So I figured at some point, eventually I will find another place that has a similar aesthetic, or an aesthetic that is conducive to this idea I have, and I'll be able to implement it, and this will help me out, right, to proceed forward. Originally, with the trailer, I was going to remodel it in a fun way and an engaging way. I was going to remodel the whole trailer, but not just like a remodel. Hey, here's some new cabinets. Look at the remodel I did. I was going to do some crazy stuff. Like, I was going to put lights in the floor where they shine through the floor in some kind of whimsical, fun way that was and also make the design or the aesthetic appear to be halfway cyberpunk aesthetic, right, in the trailer. I was going to make content out of my progress on building the trailer up and remodeling it in a unique way. I was going to do like magic tricks and stuff, like have like hang stuff up by invisible looking string where you can't see the string, and it made things look like they were floating in the air. That's one thing I was going to do. And I was going to make like, I was going to do a bunch of different things. There's a magician on YouTube called Justin Flom. Justin Flom, F-L-O-M. So I was going to do stuff like kind of similar to the fun stuff that he does, except I was going to do it in the trailer, and I was going to just do interesting content based around that specific trailer and the way it looked. I was going to make it look actually pretty cool, and I know that I could have, if I would have been able to stay in that trailer. I was just going to do unique stuff and then build an audience, and then, you know, and then have that as a business, right? Where I'm a content creator, you know. I think my ideas would have caught enough people's attention that it would have rendered the outcome of even if I didn't go viral or become internet famous, at least my content would have brought in enough audience where I could have, you know, created a small business out of it, even if it was a part-time business, you know. And then I was going to also be making and selling art on top of that. You know, that's how I was going to establish my artist brand, right, moving forward. But eventually, at some point, I will land in a situation similar to that, even if it's like somebody's apartment that they built onto the back of their house. You know, as long as I'm cool with the owner and they let me, you know, I can model it in some way. There's an artist also called Trippy Draws. It's a girl, and she makes a lot of hippie looking stuff. It's not really my style, but she just transformed her entire house to make it look like this hippie, whimsical looking place, and so everything she does, she puts art on everything. So I kind of like, my concept was something similar to that of what she did, right? So I was aspiring to establish my artist brand through different creative things that I was going to do. I was going to build, I have these two, what do you call it? I have these two shampooers, right? I think I got rid of them, but they were identical shampooers, and they looked like robot legs. They were about 3 feet high, and I thought, I was like, these look like robot legs, and I was gonna gather a bunch of stuff, right, and create like a 12-foot or 15-foot tall robot statue, right, and paint it and put it in the middle of the yard at the trailer. I was going to play on the idea that I was living in a trailer, if that makes sense. Like, I was going to play the character. Yeah, I'm some quirky dude that makes things living in this trailer, and and this is my gigantic robot that stands in the front yard. It would have drawn attention, you know what I mean? And it was going to be a cool robot, but had to move out of the trailer. I was going to like lift that robot up, and it was going to look so awesome. The plans I had for it. But again, I could have done that. If I could have stayed living in that trailer for $400 a month, I could have implemented that into the content, right? Stand it up 15 foot high in the front yard. It would have drawn attention to my brand, to me. Great content. Maybe have some lights on the eyes part of the robot, you know. So anyways, that was what kind of some of the stuff I was going to do, right? And create narratives centered around the life living in that trailer, right? And I could have done all that, you know, but in the future, eventually, I need to start somewhere, is my point. Like, I don't have the money or means to just go rent an apartment or just rent a house. Like, I have to start cheap, and the idea is I'm going to leverage that, if that makes sense. If I have to start cheap, then I want to leverage the cheap. So if I'm living in a trailer with a certain aesthetic, then I'm going to leverage that to my benefit, and start an artist brand. So anyways, should have rolled up that window, but it is what it is. So anyways, that's all I got to say about it. Oh yeah, and it's almost like Rudy was saying, posting a Style Goes YouTube channel. He was saying that when the dark reality sees that you're a threat, and I've mentioned this before myself, like, it sees that you're a threat, and then it has to attack you. That's what it is. It sees that you're a threat, so it has to attack you. It sees that you're coming into power, and so it attempts to put stuff in your way to prevent you from obtaining that power. And if I would have done that, you know, eventually my long-term goal is to get a piece of land and build myself a house on it, right? But I got to start somewhere. So I figured the most optimal way to begin will be to find someplace cheap and leverage it using my creativity. But, you know, as we always talk about, there is some kind of dark reality that exists, that's always trying to stop everybody who wakes up, who is a mystic, who begins to gain power and awareness of the truth of reality. And then you start getting that power, which is what happened when I got into that trailer. It goes, oh no. It tries to stop you. But anyways, I'm almost at my customer's house, and so I need to go ahead and cut the video short, and you know, that's about it.